Hello, friends, and welcome to Virtual Strangers 53. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend, Ruuts. Ruuts, it's week 53, but I feel like in many ways, it kind of feels like week one, right?
Yeah, I agree. And what an amazing week this is, right? Now, I feel like that whole year was a crash course, you know? So I don't know. I feel like I just plagiarized somebody. But no, I feel like it's very, it's been a crazy year. And now we're just now getting to the where we want to be with what we're doing. And I'm excited.
Yeah, we came into this completely blind, a year ago. Had no idea what we were doing, and I feel like up until this point, we've pretty much just been in preparation, learning how to create compelling content for all of the VR enthusiasts out there. And I'm really excited now that we're comfortable, now that we know what we're doing. I'm really excited to see how we're able to grow our channel and grow our community. And if you would like to help us grow our community, please, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit that bell to stay up with all of our content. And if you are a long-time supporter, a long-time subscriber, I'd like to go ahead and announce that as of today, we are entering into the land of Patreon. We have created a Patreon account. This is something that a few people have asked us about over, especially over the last, few months. This is something that continues to come up, and we really didn't want to kind of get into the monetary aspect of things until we felt like we had something that was worth paying for. But here we are. I feel like our content's good, and I feel like, Ruuts, that we have a pretty clear vision of where we want to take the channel, but we can't do it without support, right?
Yeah, especially not in the way we want to do it. Although I will submit, after watching back the last Monday show when we did it live and listening to Anthony, I think I started to agree with him. I think we nailed the art style right off the bat, and so I don't know. We'll have to discuss on what changes we want to do. But I am excited about the Patreon because there's so many conversations that we have that we keep saying, oh man, we should put this out somewhere, and so giving people that behind the scenes conversations, and who knows where they go, because you and I know they go all over the place. I think it'll be interesting for a lot of people that are into the show and want to know like what happens before the camera rolls. And so I don't know, I'm kind of excited for that as well.
Yeah. So what Ruuts is talking about here is we haven't really come to any firm decisions on what we're going to do with the different tiers on Patreon of subscribers. So as for right now, just starting out, we're going to put some content on there for all the subscribers. And if you donate anything, you'll have access, and if you don't, then you won't. But as time goes on, I'm sure we're going to develop into some good ideas as to what to do with the people who want to give a little more. But as of right now, as Roots was saying, if you decide to support our channel by subscribing on Patreon, you're going to gain access to behind the scenes video footage. You know, we always start recording generally about an hour before we even kick off the show, and we talk about any number of things, some of it VR related, some of it not so much. It's hard to say what you're going to get on there, but you're going to get some bonus footage that is normally left on the cutting room floor. In addition to that, I'm going to give everyone who supports us with Patreon access to our show notes in digital form, of course. I'm going to post these. I do one of these for every show. It has all of our topics and basic, talking points for each one. I'm not going to lie, most of it's copied and pasted from about 5 or 6 different news sites that I follow. But if you want a good source to come to that deals mainly with games and the news that came out this week, and you want just the Cliff's Notes, I feel like it's a pretty good read.
I think it's a lot of work you're doing, man. It makes me feel guilty when I see 3 pages of notes in there, and I know that I pulled the scenes, and then I showed up, and you're the backbone, dude. So I appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate you, sir. We both have our responsibilities, and you do yours with expert precision. Now that we've got some experience under our belt. So without droning on over what we want to do with the future of the channel, just again, we want to thank everybody who supported us this far, and the people who continue to subscribe, and the people who are going to contribute through Patreon. Thanks. Thank you, all of you.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyway, let's talk about this trailer we just watched, Roots. No Man's Sky. What's it going to take, dude? Like, this, as a flat game, was already one of the most, expansive experiences that video games in general had to offer. They brought it over into VR for us, and we barely gave it a look. They polished it up real nice, added in all these great multiplayer features, and we barely gave it a look. They updated it and gave us the ability to fly and pilot living ships, and we didn't even go into it. And now, Roots, now they're giving us the ability to travel and interact by piloting mechs, and this is called the Minotaur Heavy Exocraft Hybrid. And Roots, what's it going to take? Are we finally going to get in there and give this game the time it deserves? Because I feel like these devs at Hello Games are really putting in the work.
Yeah, it looks amazing, actually. And what's funny is as I'm watching the trailer, I feel like it's almost too much. Because I already felt overwhelmed with the game going in, and it, trying to build the ship and do everything and fly. Finally got off the planet, and I landed, and then I logged out, and I really haven't gone back too much. But so part of me feels like it's just almost too much. But man, it looks amazing, right? I wanna see those mechs and get in them and walk around. Although I guess that just to showcase, they had to do it in third person. I'd be doing it in first person. But nah, I think this looks amazing. And on top of that, other, like you said, the living ship. I mean, it does. These developers just keep amazing me. From the very beginning when their game was crap, and they kept working on it, and they were a living meme of why you need to return this game, and they've turned it around to be one of the best games out there, and especially in VR. I just think it's amazing.
Well, the best thing about an update like this is that it's optional. This isn't something that we have to do if we don't want to. So as far as making what was already an intimidating proposition even more so, The good thing is that we really get to choose. You know, we can get in a mech if we want to, or we don't have to. We can do the living ships if we want to, but we don't have to. But if we decide that we want to start piloting one of these mechs, as you can see, you do it from the first person, and they give you joysticks to steer the thing around with. But it arrives with a jetpack, immunity to all planetary hazards, upgradable mining lasers, and the ability to outfit the exocraft with solar panels to recharge the engines during the daylight hours.
Wow.
Yeah. Whereas this thing is optional, I really, and I'm not even a mech guy, but this seems like a lot of benefits that are going to make the gameplay easier
Hmm.
for people if they decide that this is the route they want to go with their gameplay.
Yeah, you just convinced me. If I'm playing this game, I'm getting my mech because um, some of the things that are a nightmare is running out of energy and having to go out and farm the stuff, or like the lasers, just being able to do everything in there and being safe from the environment. I just think it like you said, it gives you actual reasons to want to use this mech, and they're very viable. So
Jetpack, son. There's a jetpack.
yeah, so that's a jetpack on the thing, so you can fly, I guess. Now look at this. There's an ATST. It looks like. Where did that come? Somehow it came out of Star Wars there, and he's ready to
Come from
attack
Hoth,
people.
dude.
Yeah, if this was a frozen planet, it would have been Hoth, right? They should have used frozen planet footage, and
Well, maybe,
people.
maybe it's indoor. Maybe I'm wrong about
Yeah,
that.
maybe, but it did look like one. But no, I think this is amazing, and for anybody that's a fan of the game, it's just one more reason to get back in there and check it out and play with your friends. So,
Let me ask you this: why doesn't Scion live in this game?
I don't know, man. I don't know what his deal is because he loves the forest. I mean, this has got everything. It's got everything you a growing scion needs to enjoy a game, and I think he should be. I should be hearing Roots. Let's go into No Man's Sky. That's what I should be hearing, but I'm usually hearing Roots. Let's bridge crew it up, which is fun too. So
Yeah, this I think the survival element of this game is really what holds me out of it. Survival's just not really my thing. I love survival games, but the reason why I love them isn't because of the survival gameplay. It's normally if you're in a survival game, you have a big open world to explore, and that's what I like. And this game in particular, not only is it a big open world to explore, but it's a big open universe to explore, full of all different species of plant and animal life, not to mention all of the players, the other people that you can meet playing this game. I mean, really, if you were going to sit here and script the perfect replayable game, I mean, this is pretty close, right?
yeah, and it's got a story to it. From what I think was it Radio Run or somebody was saying that's the best way to learn the game. It's been so long since we talked about it now I can't remember, but just actually playing through that story kind of leads you everywhere. And I don't know, I just think it'd be fun to do with somebody else, and they're definitely giving you a lot of reasons to go back in for sure.
Well, that's the thing, right? When I heard this was getting VR support, I immediately went and bought two physical copies for my PlayStation so that I could do local co-op here with it, and then of course we have the Steam copy as well, so we can go that route with it as well. It never ceases to amaze me how much work they put into this thing, but we never seem to find the time to get in there and check any of it out.
And now you got more time than you know. Maybe now's the time to check it out.
Yeah, this actually is a pretty good quarantine title. You talk about hours to burn, brother. This one will do it.
Yeah, even just that beginning part for me took several hours just to get my ship off the planet. I guess there is a mode that might be easier on the survival mode, and I need to check that out as well because I'm not too big on having to eat and just I mean I don't even know if there's eating in this. I can't remember, but I know that there's a survival, and I don't like running around looking for stuff while I'm dying and then having to run back to the ship, and I get impatient. I just want to do my thing. So
Damn, I'm thirsty.
yeah, dude, yeah, that was definitely the Seeking Dawn version of Nightmare. But they fixed that as well. So I don't know. I think there might be eating in this, but I can't remember. I should know that by now. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. They should cross over with Seeking Dawn. Like, you should be able to visit that planet.
Oh, wouldn't that be cool? Like if they had like they really went to that much detail, or that it was from the same developer, or you could go to different planets that were different games, or whatever. I just think that'd be pretty cool.
Go to the Stormlands planet.
Yeah, yeah, and you could see the robots running around doing their thing. So
Yeah. World, Universe War 3.
yeah,
Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. No Man's Sky, Hello Games, doing an excellent job supporting this title, doing everything that they can, really, to keep themselves in everyone's minds as all of these next-gen titles come out. No Man's Sky has kind of fallen to the wayside here, and Hello Games not going down without a fight.
yeah, that's good. They put a lot of work into it. They deserve it. Yeah.
I agree. And No Man's Sky wasn't the only major title to receive a substantial update this past week, because Boneworks update 1.4 redacted finally hit Steam VR just a few days ago. All right, so Boneworks update 1.4, again known as the redacted update, brought to us, amongst other things, 3 new sandbox maps, as well as what they're claiming to be improved hand physics. Greatly improved hand physics, it even says. Roots, I know that you and I both went in to sample the greatly improved hand physics just today. What did you think? Could you tell a major difference in them?
I couldn't tell a major difference. I played through probably about a half an hour. I actually went through the story just back where I was at and waited till I got to a point where I could climb, and I thought that would be where I would notice it the most, because they say it improved climbing or whatever. But for me, it was just as janky as before. And I don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong. And don't get me wrong, I remembered why I love this game. It's amazing. It's the presence, everything, but I just don't know. I don't know what's going on, and to be honest, and this blew me away, I didn't love the doors, Wes. I didn't love the doors. I got to a door and I started doing stuff with it, and I thought, I don't know, Anthony, tell me what's with the doors, man, because I don't see it, dude. I just don't, and I don't understand. I feel like they were horrible to me, and maybe I'm just not, again, missing something. But I prefer the doors in Alex.
Yeah, I do as well. And in Boneworks, I just kind of barrel through them. I don't even try to grab the handle anymore. I just walk through them like they're not even there.
Yeah, or I'll push them with my gun or whatever. But yeah, it was weird, and I just feel like I didn't walk away from it thinking, "Oh my God, they just made this game 10 times better." I just went away with it thinking the exact same thing that I thought before. This is a really good game, and it's janky as hell. It's a love affair, or a hate and love fest at the same time. It's just, it's very weird.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't tell any major difference. Now, with that said, it was another one of the recent updates that came out, like maybe 1.3. I actually could tell that climbing was a little bit easier, but the climbing, by itself never really was my biggest issue. It's what happens when you finish climbing. When you get to the top and you need to mount whatever it is that you're climbing, that's damn near impossible. It was then, it was after 1.3, and it is now. And I agree with everything you said there. I'm not going to drone on about it too much because we've talked about it time and time again. This is an amazing game with an unparalleled sense of presence that you feel when you're in this. But at the same time, anytime you do any kind of significant physical interaction or melee fighting, you kind of feel like you're drunk. And, you know, you're like your body's not quite doing what you want it to do. And, you know, I feel like with the amount of hours that I've put into this thing, that I should have been able to have mastered it by now.
Yeah, people just say, Wes, you're doing it wrong. And I just, I don't know how to do it. I can't, I've never even really mounted before. And why is he hit? It said no. You don't hit the button. It said no, you don't hit it. It's not safe. And now he's screwed. This is actually one of the cool levels, I guess, the sandbox levels. They, I think it's the Tuscany one or whatever. But I think it looks so amazing graphically. So that I thought was pretty cool. And so I see that they're adding stuff. And you know, so that's cool. And when I saved a couple times when I was playing, I grabbed those things, and that was cool. And yeah, so I don't know, I enjoy my time in this, but I just don't, I feel like they still need to do, there's something weird about the climbing, and hopefully they'll figure out a way to make it feel right, because I do enjoy climbing in this game, but part of me hates it. So
Yeah, it's a weird thing because I love the fact that you can climb almost anything. Like, you can legit find shortcuts in this game easily if you're willing to climb for them. And you have a little bit of imagination and perception. But you know, no significant change in the level of jank here. Not a big surprise to me. What really did surprise me about this update, though, is exactly what you said. These sandbox levels. I'd never tried any of the Boneworks sandbox stuff before because, in general, I don't like playing in sandboxes. It seems kind of a pointless exercise to me. But these aren't pure sandboxes, are they? These are kind of like mini levels that they've put together, but you have a little bit more control over what's going on, so they call it a sandbox. But you know, to my experience, there's a lot of secrets and things to uncover to the perceptive player here, right?
yeah, there's a lot of different stuff you can unlock and find out. And I said this, I think it was last week or the week before, but I really do think that if they could add a co-op to these sandboxes, I'd be in there. I'd be like, oh my God, Wes, we got to go check this out. You know, you just make this incredibly insane scene of a million things, and we are hitting that button, and a million robots are popping out. I just think it could be a lot of fun. So I think this really, of all the things, like you said, with sandboxes or all these extra things that a lot of these games put in, they seem like an afterthought and they seem almost pointless. This definitely does not seem like an afterthought, and it is definitely not pointless. Like, I can imagine somebody that's beat the game has infinite amount of hours of different scenarios they could set up. And like I said, you could just make it completely insane. And I like that. So.
Yeah, I do as well. Another really cool thing, you know, one of these 3 new sandbox maps was actually the one that they showed in the early footage leading up to release. We kept getting these node videos, and we kept seeing them in the same level, you know, doing all these different kind of demonstrations of the technology that they've built here. And people kind of wondered when the game came out, where was that? Where was that level at? And it had been redacted. And that's why this is called the redacted update, because they're now adding it back in. And that particular level is a lot of fun. There are items to find that you have to kind of figure out, you know, the proverbial physical puzzle to find the items. You have to use your brain, and you have to use some skill. And there are multiple rooms you have to make your way through. And there's a bit of a paradox involved with it as well. So very well done. Very thoughtful, as most of the things in this game are. So as disappointed as I may have been with the, quote, greatly improved hand physics, I was that impressed with the 3 new sandbox environments. There's also a new mini game, which is a time trial. There are new spawnable gashapons, a new firearm, and 3 new original songs. So all in all, a pretty substantial update to Boneworks, and an update, in my opinion, which really does add value to the game.
Well, you know what was funny about that? When I was reading the notes, and I said, and I saw something about the songs, and I thought, what the hell? 3 new songs? But then I got into this level today, Wes, on my actual game, and the music, I was like, it was really good. And then it dawned on me that, like, it's good to have new songs. And I don't know. I don't know what songs they are, but I can't remember what level I was in today, but I was really digging the music. And I just thought that was cool. And I kind of psyched to see what the songs that they added. Oh my God, look at that, Jake. The songs they added to it, because it was something that I didn't even really consider to be needed or wanted. And after the level I played today, I was like, okay, yeah, I could see that being really cool. If the songs are good. So
yeah, well, that's the cool thing about this. The sound design is so good, not only from an effects standpoint, but from a music standpoint. The music that you hear in this game, it isn't the type of thing that I'm going to go listen to in my car, but in the context of being in this world, and generally the scenes that accompany the songs, everything just kind of fits together perfectly. And the music, I feel like, is just one of the many different aspects that help build up this level of polish and this level of presence that you feel when you're in this world.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just something that was my blind spot. I just didn't even think it. I didn't even remember any music at all, Wes. And that's why I was like, songs, what are you talking about? And then I guess it's been just a long time since I've been in there. And this game is amazing. As much as we say the physics are weird, it is an amazing game. And anybody that says otherwise is high on something. So I'm just kidding.
They're high on pot news.
Yes, I think so.
All right. Anyway, Boneworks, a good game becomes better, and that's always a good thing.
Yep.
All right. Real quick, I wanted to touch on Crisis Brigade. It seems like every week, Roots, we're on here talking about something that these developers at Sumo Lab have done with Crisis Brigade. Last week, it was we got a new teaser trailer for Crisis VRigade 2. Crisis Brigade 2, and also a kind of a hint from the developers that we may be getting the sequel sooner rather than later. The week prior to that, they added in multiplayer co-op support for the Oculus Quest version, which, by the way, happens to be free on SideQuest. And this week, Roots, true to form, we have yet another update, and this week they have added in up to 3-player co-op multiplayer to the PlayStation VR version. But if that's not cool enough, Roots, it's also cross-platform. So if you don't have 2 buddies that have the PSVR version, call up somebody who has the Steam version, because apparently now we can all play together.
That's crazy. Now, let me ask you this. You said all. Does that mean the Quest players can play with us, or is that separate?
I haven't confirmed this one way or the other, but I don't think so. It was Void Citizen, I think, that I was talking to in the Discord. He stated to me that the cross-platform multiplayer was not available on the free Quest version. So I guess you can only play with Quest players on that. Okay. But as far as everything else goes, I think it's all cross-platform now.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, if 2 people wasn't enough to get these levels done, 3, like if you don't get it done with 3 people, there's something wrong with you. I'll tell you what, 1 person, this is a very difficult game, and like you make it you die like 10 times getting through the first level or whatever, and you get to the second one, you're like, okay, I got, and then you start dying in there, and there's so many different stages that it's very difficult to beat. So it makes me very glad that I can bring a friend in here, and I'm not limited to PC only. And believe it or not, that actually just was a thing in the Discord, right? They somebody was like looking for somebody on PlayStation VR to play with, and then I think it was Void Citizen that let us know that, hey, this is cross-platform. And so it opened up that door for whoever was looking for the games. Like, oh, I'm not limited to only PlayStation people. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. And how about that sequel teaser, man? How good is that thing coming along?
I don't know, man. It looks like such a different game. It looks amazing. And if it's got the same gameplay and the same feel, but it looks, I mean, because to me it looks like a different generation of games. Like you played a game on the Nintendo 64, and then you went to the next step up, and you had played the sequel. That's what it looks like to me. It's like, wow, this is, I mean, these devs obviously are on the ball, and it's just a good time for VR, West, because I'm seeing this from developers across the board where they're starting to really know their element and push the boundaries, and that's just good. It's good for everybody.
Yeah, I love this guy, dude. His name's Diego Martin, and not only is he an amazing, hard-working developer. By the way, on a side note, the rest of the world, rest of the video game world is being crippled by coronavirus, and apparently nobody can get any work done on their games. Not this guy, huh? This guy just keeps right on trucking, right?
Yeah, well, it's like you said before, there's a difference of a studio that has a whole bunch of people working on it versus one or two. You don't have that same concern, and this is not a knock at any developer, but I know that this has got to be true because it's humanity. It's a great excuse, hey, Corona, we can't get our game out, we got to delay it. We were going to delay it anyway, but now we've got an excuse for it. And so I feel like a lot of devs are using that as an excuse to give themselves more time or whatever. But it's good to see this one not, because I want to play the sequel, Wes. I want to play it sooner than later.
But anyway, Diego Martin, not only a great, hardworking game developer, but an open book. This guy's on Twitter all the time, and he is perfectly bluntly honest about what's going on with his game, especially when he was trying to get published on the Oculus Quest store. He never backed down. Some of these other developers were kind of like, and rightfully so, maybe a little nervous to talk about their experience with Oculus. They don't want to step on any toes, burn any bridges. This guy, just the opposite, man. He comes right out there with it. I'm submitting my game for Oculus Quest store. I'm submitting it a second time. I'm submitting it again. And when he gets denied, perfectly upfront with what they told him or didn't tell him. Anyway, I'm quickly becoming a big fan of Sumo Lab co-founder Diego Martin. Absolutely a great job he's doing over there.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up just so, like you said, people like Void Citizen who are looking for players to co-op with them on PlayStation VR, maybe look outside the box a little bit. Maybe join our Discord. There's an invite in the description, and plenty of people are members of our Discord, have this game on Steam, and apparently we can all play together now. So, check it out. All right, Roots. So that was Death Horizon Reloaded. This is a game that I've been aware of for a while. This was a port from mobile VR. By mobile, I mean 3DOV, first gen Oculus Go,
God.
Gear VR, the OG mobile VR. This was a port into Quest from that. Uh, always kind of just dismissed it based on the visuals, which I know is a big no-no in VR land. We can't judge a game by what it looks like. But Death Horizon Reloaded has just seen a major update that adds improved graphics, 3 new types of weapons, and a new stage with a new boss. And, looking at this new trailer and these kind of side-by-side comparison videos kind of led me into reading some of the reviews of this game. And it's overwhelmingly positive, Roots. People say that this is a pretty awesome game, and it's really starting to pique my curiosity.
Well, so it's not in your library yet?
Not yet, but when I saw this, I immediately sent a request out to get a review copy of it. So hopefully that comes through.
Yeah, it looks amazing. The lighting, you can tell, is just it's a completely different game, and almost, and it's good. And it just gives us hope too, because developers, a lot of people say, wow, if it was developed for the Quest, then it must be crappy graphics. Well, this was developed for the Go, for the Gear, and they can still make it look this good. So I don't subscribe to the, it's dead because of what platform it was made for. The developers, I give the developers a little bit more credit for being able to make things look amazing on different platforms, and this is proof of it. So
yeah, this looks like and again, we haven't played it yet, but from the looks of it and from what people are saying in the reviews, they did a proper job here. This is how you bring a 3DOV game into the 6DOV world. You rework it. You make it look better. You make it play better. And apparently, the dual wielding and 6DOV tracking, that was added in from the time that they ported it. So, I mean, even from the beginning, people enjoyed this game. But as you can see here with this trailer, visually, it's starting to really look the part now.
yeah, and I'm getting to the point, like, I don't even know what I would do, Wes, if I'm walking down a hallway and there's not light reflecting off the water on the ground. Because I just heard somebody in Discord, and I can't remember who it was, but I can't even remember what game it was, but it was like, it was Moss, and the reflection wasn't in there of themselves in the Quest version, and so they returned it. And because we were talking how it's, it can change the intensity or whatever, and I never really thought about reflections or that type of stuff being putting you off. But if you're so used to seeing it, and it's that immersion, it helps bring it. It can also help pull you out when you look and you're like, wait a minute, I should be seeing a reflection of myself. So I can see that side of it for sure.
Yeah, that was one of the things that really impressed me about Theta Legion VR, which was the same type of deal. It was a Go Gear VR title that got ported into Oculus Quest. Same genre, arcade based first person shooter, and very much the same deal. And even though in the case of Theta Legion, they decided to stay with the retro style, graphics, the light and the reflections and all of that stuff that got added into the 6DOF version really, really beefed up your sense of immersion. And I feel like we're seeing a similar thing being done here with Death Horizon.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. Hopefully more to come on this game. Again, I have requested a review copy of it. Hopefully the developers there will be kind enough to grant me access to it so that I can see what all the fuss is about. But anyway, this is Death Horizon Reloaded for Oculus Quest. It can now be purchased off the Oculus Quest store, and we can expect more improvements to come in the coming months.
Cool.
All right, Roots. So this was Green Hell. This is a flat game set in the South American jungle. And we just learned this past week that this game is getting VR support. My question to you, Roots, is this Green Hell or is this the forest?
I don't know. That's why I was like, when I this trailer, when I first saw it, I was like, my first instinct was like, oh, this looks cool. And then as I was watching it, I thought, wait, I think I've played this game before. And then it dawned on me that no, this isn't the forest, but it sure looks like the forest. And the only difference to me is the enemies. Like, they're not zombie like. I don't know. It's weird. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know that this game, from what I've seen, people seem to like it, and maybe it'll be amazing. But like, if I own the forest, do I need to own Green Hell? That's the question. And anybody, if you've played this before and you say, Roots, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, this is the best game, this makes the forest look like crap, then let me know, or vice versa. But it does look like it's right up Scion's alley, because Scion VR, he loves this game. Or at least the forest. I'm already talking about it like it's the forest. He loves the forest, so I would imagine he's going to love this game.
Yeah, it does visually look a lot better than the forest from a graphical standpoint. How terrifying the situations are when you're playing the game, I don't know, but it looks like it has a lot of potential to be very good. My whole thing with it was, I mean, if you'll remember when they ported the forest over from flat in the VR, it was not a perfect port. It took years for them to get that thing to where it was running smoothly in VR. I mean, it just became playable within the last 6 months. And that's my biggest question with Green Hell, is will the port of Green Hell be similar to the port of the forest?
I hope not, because I've experienced that firsthand, and I've told this story before. But I played it. The first time I ever played the forest was with a few friends, and we had 4 people, and I was the only one in VR, and I was inadvertently destroying everything. Like, I'd put my controller down, and all of a sudden I left to go to the bathroom, and I came back and everybody was like, oh my God, you destroyed our houseboat, And I'm like, what? Or I'd be walking by and I'd try to grab something out of the fire and end up destroying it. And then they're like, well, wait, wasn't there a fire? Was the fire, weren't we cooking something? And I'm like kind of running away, trying to pretend it wasn't me. And it got to a point where I had to nope out. I said, guys, I can't play this anymore because I'm screwing your game over. Like, I'm literally destroying everything we're trying to build. And I was out of my control. But then in retrospect, the time that we went in with Scion and we played and stuff, it was after the fix and it was all good. So hopefully this game, because it's been so long since the forest did get moved over, and we were just discussing, a lot of these developers are now getting a lot of experience under the belt. And granted, I don't know too much about these developers if they have much experience in VR, but hopefully they've learned some of the things that maybe the forest did wrong, or they just come over and bring it. Because if it's up to me, I don't ever want to experience green hell if it's like the Forest was when it came out, because it was just that jank fest. I just didn't enjoy that back then. So
Well, I'm happy to report to you, Roots, that there is some hope on this front because this was developed by Poland-based Creepy Jar. However, a listing for the company on Reuters confirmed in mid-March that it had signed a deal with another developer, Incuvo, to develop and publish the VR version of this game. So, if you're, in case you're not familiar with who Incuvo is, it is the developer who ported over Layers of Fear into VR late last year. So they did a tremendous job on that game, although it does seem like this might be a bit more of a daunting task than that point and click horror game Layers of Fear was.
yeah, it's definitely going to show you how good the developers are as bringing it over, because Layers of Fear was done so well and it's highly regarded. But at the same time, like you said, there was no hand presence, right? There was not a lot of the things that they're going to have to take into consideration for this game. But yeah, no, it kind of intrigues me to see how good this is going to be. And I'll have to find out from Scion because I guarantee he's probably going to play this, but or maybe they'll send us a key and we can talk about it.
Yeah, I'm quite sure that we're all going to end up playing this at least a time or two. That is, if the port's done well. And again, Incuvo did a great job on Layers of Fear, so I got to imagine that they're going to do a great job here too. Really don't know when this game's coming. This was not a formal announcement that that the game was coming to VR. Literally, we learned of it through that report in Reuters that I just referenced. That's how we learned that this game was coming to VR, is through the reporting of their contract with Incuvo. So it could be a year down the line before we even see this game, Roots.
Or it could come tomorrow. That's the way VR is, right? And we were just talking about it before we filmed about that racing game. What's the name of it that we've
Grip.
all been? Yeah, Grip, man, and just how good it is, and how much fun that a whole bunch of us in the Discord have been getting together. I think we had 5 or 6 people at one point, and it's just such a good racing game. And for them it just dropped out of nowhere. It gives me a lot of hope for just any game really getting ported over. And I know, granted, the developers have to want to put the time in, and there has to be money to be made and all of that. But I just don't think that there's any game out there now that I feel like they can't bring that out to VR. That game is so intensive with flips and twists and things that they said, oh, you can't do this in VR. It'll make people sick. Well, guess what? I've never gotten sick in VR. And I've been flipping around in that thing for about 7 hours now, and it's amazing. So I think they can bring just about anything into VR if they feel like there's a reason to and there's an audience.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about being a VR gamer is you can have a blank plate staring you in the face when you're looking over what's coming for the next month, and then just out of nowhere, here comes VR support for this 3-year-old flat game that all of a sudden, now that it's a VR game, happens to be the coolest thing that we've ever played. I mean, this is a recurring theme. It happens all the time. And Grip, a great example of it. And there's any countless number of other examples we could go through. But who knows, maybe Green Hell will end up being one of those titles.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it says co-op mode April 7th. So I guess it just came into co-op for the first time, right? That's kind of cool too. So even if you don't have VR, you're getting something different.
Yeah, so exactly. Yeah, that's going to breathe new life into the game regardless.
Yeah, cool.
Absolutely.
Save yourself.
What the hell are you talking about?
Okay, so as we have seen just there, we finally got the release date for Follia Dear Father. Roots, I told you that I felt like it was coming soon. You could just tell with the way these guys have gone into promo mode over the last few weeks that they were getting ready to announce this. And we don't have very long to wait at all. April 30th, we're finally going to get to check out this game. And I got to be honest here, man, I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, this thing looks creepy as hell. And that's just survival horror. Does that mean we're gonna have to like gather food, and or does it just mean stay alive? I'm assuming.
I really get a feeling that this is going to be the Resident Evil 7 style of survival horror game, but it's mainly based off of what pre-release footage I've been able to watch. I tell you what, why don't we take a look at the full reveal trailer really quickly here, and that way everybody can get a look at this game. And for those of viewers out there who aren't familiar with it, they will get a chance to see why it is that I am just so excited to play this game.
Hey Marcus, it's Ryan. I received this weird email. It says something bad happened at the university where your parents work. I don't want to alarm you, but I would like to check it out. What do you say? Come on, get ready and I'll be at your place in a few.
All right, so there you have it. Absolutely terrifying, disgusting, right?
Yeah, dude, this thing just it just oozes creepiness, and I'm right there on this with you, even though I'm not the biggest horror fanatic. I was just telling you before we started filming that Resident Evil 7 elicited things in me that I've never felt in a game, and not only the scariness, but just outside the box. And this looks like this could be, like you said, could be it for the PCVR. And I think that's cool.
All right, so here's the deets for those of you who are not in the know about Follia, Dear Father. This game is being brought to us by a game designer, Mirko Scarici, which is a guy that I follow on Twitter. He's a really cool guy. This game is being promoted as a flat game. So this is primarily a flat game. It's not made for VR. However, it's going to launch with VR support on HTC Vive. It's going to be officially support HTC Vive only at launch. Now, with that being said, it's expected that Oculus Rift is going to work as well. Tests are ongoing, underway right now with regards to that. But I've watched some reaction clips of people playing this game in the Vive, and they're all playing with the gamepad. So it's a gamepad game. It only needs to have headset support. And it's very much, like I said, I feel like it's going to be a lot like the Resident Evil 7 experience, if it turns out, of course.
Yeah, well, kind of psyched to see. Looks pretty creepy, and I don't want to see that person in my face, though. I don't know.
I totally do, Roots. I want to see that person
in your face,
right in my face.
Yeah, well, that's your jam, right?
That is my jam. Evil games are number one, dude, and you know, the situations that can quicken my pulse in VR are few and far between. But if it is happening that way, more often than not, it's from a really well done horror game. And this one looks like to be really well done. That said, again, it's from an independent developer. It's developed mainly for flat, and the VR supports for HTC Vive. So I'm going in with some cautious optimism. But if everything lines up correctly and goes as well as it could, we could have a real treat on our hands here. And you know, to be honest, this is one of my most highly anticipated games of the year thus far.
Yeah, less than 3 weeks.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. I wish it was here right now.
Yeah.
You know what the sad thing about that is? It's my wedding anniversary coming up, and I'm going to be wanting to play VR, Roots. I don't know if I'm going to be able to or not.
Yeah, probably best you don't if you want to stay married. It's always good to actually acknowledge the anniversary, I think.
Yeah, it's a good idea, right?
Yeah.
To acknowledge the anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we normally don't do a lot, but we do. Well, I mean, normally we just get a babysitter and hang out. That's the way we spend most of these things. But none of that this year, huh?
No, you're stuck, man. You tell your kids to stay in there. We're gonna stay in here, and it's pretty much all you can do.
Well, that's one of the cool things about my kids getting older is I don't have to be right on top of them all the time. So if wife and I want to both slip into the headset and go get out of here that way, we can absolutely do it.
Ah, cool. Maybe you could be checking this game out together, even though it's not co-op, but...
You know, I wouldn't say for sure that it's not. I don't think it is. It seems like a single person, you know, FPS game, or I mean, survival horror. I'm not even sure it's an FPS, but you know, it's a common thing for these horror games to, or at least lately, to add in co-op support. So maybe that's something that we will see out of it after all.
Yeah, there's nothing better than bringing a friend.
Yeah, especially when it's stuff like this, when you need, You need someone else's courage to push you along.
Yeah, it's either this or I need someone else's skills and I'm too lazy. So I'll bring you in and then you do the work and then I just kind of go along with. That's my MO. So.
Anyway, Follia Dear Father out April 30th. Stay tuned. We will absolutely let you guys know how this thing plays on Oculus Rift and whether or not you should go pick it up or not.
Yep.
All right, so that was a brand new VR workout title named Supernatural. And Roots, this really does show the power of a really well done trailer, because I mean, this application does a few different things, none of which we've really, are new. I mean, we've got some Beat Saber here, we've got some O-Shape going on here. We've got some box VR going on here, but this thing looks absolutely hella polished. It looks like maybe the most high quality rhythm game / exercise application that we've seen in VR to date. And, disregarding any of this other stuff on here, just judging from the trailer, what did you think about this trailer for Supernatural?
I think that timing is everything. They clearly are putting this trailer out with the intention of, hey, you need to work out. You're stuck in your house. You have VR. You can't go anywhere. You're quarantined. And look at these amazing environments. You can be in the mountains. You've got expert coaching. It's like that's one of the things that people can't go to the gym. They can't go. If they're doing Taibo or learning how to, do karate or whatever, you just can't go to your instructor. And here you get to work out in an amazing environment. And like you said, the trailer looks amazing, and that those mountains look amazing. So I'm kind of hoping that there's more than just that scenery, but even that, I don't know, it just looks really cool.
Yeah. This was the process for me on this game. And the scenery, by the way, it looks just beautiful. This application's being brought to us from the same developers that brought us Within. So we know that it's going to have some really cool looking, beautiful scenery. Machu Picchu, all of these different locations from all over the world. They've taken high resolution photographs of it. And yeah, I'm sure it's going to be breathtaking. But this was my process with this for me. The first thing that I saw of this application was the trailer. And my thoughts were, oh my God, this is an amazing looking game. I want to play this. I want to experience it. So I immediately, before I read anything, sent an email out to get a review copy of this game. Well, and then after I did that, I started to read. And let's read some of this to you. First of all, this title was just announced by Oculus and Within, with a launch plan for April 23rd on Oculus Quest. The software would be priced at an introductory rate of $20 per month with a free trial. So we're going to be able to try this thing for free anyway, Roots. I don't need a review copy of it. And come to find out, this is not a game. This isn't a game at all. This is a fitness regimen, and it's a subscription-based fitness regimen at that. $20 per month, Roots. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's crazy, dude. I don't want to see myself. I don't even want to spend $15 for a Blizzard account for World of Warcraft, and I love that game. I definitely don't. I just don't see people spending $20 a month. I mean, maybe 1 month, but I mean, if they have these amazing activities or workouts and it's changing every month and they give you reasons for it, but man, I don't. That's weird. That's a weird thing to subscribe to, and I guess they're assuming that people aren't paying money for the gym and they're looking for, and maybe that will be the case for a month, and then everything goes back to normal if it does. Now you don't want to do this anymore. You want to go back to the gym. That's why you have the gym membership. So I don't know, man. It's very bizarre. I didn't even read those parts of the notes, and that just shocks me, just like it probably shocked you.
Yeah, 100%. It's hard to wrap your brain around a price like that from a gamer perspective. When you think $20 for so long, $20 was the standard for, the best VR game was $20. Wasn't that long ago, right?
No.
Now, $20 a month just seems, ludicrous. When you can get Beat Saber for $30 and buy all of these, these beat tracks that come out for it for like $6 and $7 for a pack of them. But when you start to consider that, A, this isn't a game, B, this is a fairly detailed fitness regimen, and C, people are at home right now. All these people that normally go to the gym are stuck at home. I happen to know somebody specifically who used to go to the gym every day and just bought an Oculus Quest mainly to work out on. So maybe this sort of thing would speak to him. I'm definitely going to recommend it to him and see what he thinks about it. But there's a lot going on here, and let's talk a little bit about what you get for your $20 per month. First of all, of course, it includes a mobile app for your phone and compare with the Apple Watch to track your heart rate during your exercises. And we got a quote here from the founder and CEO of Within. He said, "We had the choice of doing a discrete one-time fixed price download with a locked amount of workouts that would allow you to add more workouts and songs through DLC packs. That works well for games, but I didn't feel like it was the best approach for a fitness system, particularly given one of the big things we are solving for is helping people find, stick with, and ultimately love their exercise program. The maps will calibrate to your personal range of motion, so targets, lunges, and squats should adjust based on how your body is comfortable moving. The title also includes expert coaching from real-world trainers and is said to include music from popular artists." All right. So in a nutshell, Roots, we have an application here that is smart enough not only to just track your heart rate, but to track your range of motion, and it adapts your workout based on the improvements and gains that you're making. They give you live coaches. They give you a dynamic regimen that's always changing, and they're giving you music from some of the world's top artists. So, on paper, $20 a month, that's pretty expensive, but there is a lot here that you're paying for.
Yeah, but my question is, okay, so you get the game, or I guess workout program. It's not a game. You get the workout program and you use it for a year. It's $250, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, man, that is.
get a Bowflex, right?
Yeah, or something. I just feel like that is a lot of money. It doesn't sound like a lot at first, but for somebody that's going to continue to go to this thing and they're doing it as a workout, like most people aren't even paying that for a gym membership. You know what I mean? At this point, usually, I mean, maybe a good gym, a really good gym, $20 a month. But you're getting a pool and you're getting all sorts of things. I just don't. I think $5 a month, $10 a month. Maybe you charge $20 to buy the thing with a limited amount of workouts, and then you opt into the $5 a month on top of that, and that gives you everything. And I don't know, man. To me that it's one of those things that I think a lot of people would have buyer's remorse down the road when they realize how much they've spent on it. And I could be wrong. Maybe people that are all into working out and that's their jam, $20 a month is worth it. And to your friend, it may sound like it, especially for somebody, again, that cannot go out. But what happens when they can go out? Do they continue the subscription? And if enough people aren't continuing the subscription, they're not going to continue giving you the content. And then now I've spent money on something that now just disappears. I don't know. It's just it's very unique and it's different as far as their approach. But I'd give it 50-50. You know, I mean, it's just there's a lot of unknowns on what's going to happen with this app, and now I'm really kind of curious to see what happens. And I get to try it for free, so why not?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I agree with your sentiment there. I'm not wholeheartedly against subscription pricing for this, but I do agree. I think $20 a month's a bit steep for it. $5 to $10 a month. I would, if it were me, I would charge $20 for the base app, and then have like a $5 to $10 a month subscription fee for all the other stuff. You should be able to get X, Y, and Z just for paying the initial $20. Right. You should have like a set amount of workouts that you can play whenever you want. It should track your progress and range of motion automatically for you. That's built into the app, right? All of this extra stuff, though, with the changing regimen and the live coaching and the dynamic, changes to the music soundtrack, things like that, I feel like is a value added proposition on top of your base software. So that would be the way I would go about it. I would charge people $20-$25 for the base experience, and then when they love it, they'll gladly pay their $5 or $10 a month to get the most out of it.
Yeah. I mean, the problem for me comes into the whole thing with the price at $20 is imagine you've bought Boneworks or not, I guess Alex or whatever it is for $60, but you can only play it for 3 months, because that's what's going to happen. Someone's going to use this thing for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then they have nothing. They have nothing to show for it. They don't have the base game. They have jack crap. I guess they could download the demo, but you should have something to show for your money at the end of the day. And with this model, you do not. And that is one of the biggest problems with it, aside from $20 a month. Like I said, a World of Warcraft account is $15, and people are fanatic about that. And people sometimes are reluctant to do that. So I think that's just a little too steep to me.
Yeah, 100%. But I'm definitely interested to see how this plays out. It's absolutely a phenomenal looking app. Like I said, as soon as I saw that trailer, I was sold on it, brother. I was like, man, I got to play that. And that says a lot because, like I said, it's not a game. So if they can really get you working out and moving like that, and at the same time you're enjoying it, you're having fun, I mean, that's freaking priceless by itself.
Yeah, I'm kind of like Mamefan though, in the respect that I mean, not that I hate sweating in my headset. I just don't like it, So
Yeah.
the thought of every single time I want to work out having to be in the headset for me is a big no. But I guess if people don't mind it, I mean, they really need to figure out a better way to cool it down in there or something, because it's already hot. We're not in the summer, man. When it gets to be summer, you ain't going to be wanting to be doing that crap for sure, unless you have really good AC. Because you get, I even in the wintertime, it doesn't take much to start getting warmed up because you got a freaking computer on your face, or you know, whatever you want to consider. It's just hot. So,
that's the one good thing about this being on Oculus Quest. You know, I've got the VR cover on there, which is that pleather stuff that's not very absorbent. You can clean it off easily. And if you've got a Quest and you don't have one of those, you're really screwing up. Anyway, just because you need it for comfort. But the straps are this, you know, hard plastic straps. Again, wipeable, not absorbent. So I feel like any other headset and the sweat would automatically disqualify it. But since this is a Quest title, yeah, I can definitely see it working.
yeah. So you think it'll come? You don't think it'll come to PC?
What I'm reading here, this is a Oculus Quest title. There's a lot of movement here, man. I don't know if it would work tethered.
I don't know. It doesn't look like too much more movement than like Box VR or whatever. But I guess we'll find out. You know, I mean, obviously, if they can, they're going to want to put it on every platform they can. But if it's designed for Quest, I mean, I wouldn't mind it being Quest only, just because there really is no only Quest games out there. They all come to Rift S anyway, and it's definitely a mobile platform to where you're moving around. So
I like how it says you can get expert coaching, but what kind of experts could they possibly have for this? I mean, what, like beat Saber top scorer? Is that the expert?
Well, what is the coaching? What are they going to tell you? Well, you need to swing a little bit more to your, I'm like, okay, well, and then of course I'm not an Apple person, so like I could care less if it ties to my Apple Watch that I would never pay for or wear. But for those people that have an Apple Watch, Jim Hall, you may love it. So.
Right. All right. Anyway, that was Supernatural coming to us from within. Looks cool. Definitely looking forward to checking it out.
Yeah, cool.
All right. Speaking of Apple Roots, we keep hearing these whispers, these rumors about how Apple's getting into the VR market, and how there's this silent war going on between Facebook and Apple to get a foothold when it comes to the next gen XR device. And this past week we got some more evidence to support this theory, Roots, as it is being reported now that Apple is looking into acquiring NextVR. As many of you well know, NextVR is it's a media app. It's one that we actually covered on the Monday show not that long ago, because this is basically it's the future of live entertainment. You can watch all sorts of different live sports on here. In addition to sports, there was all sorts of programming on it. I mean, there.
Ghost Hunters, all right? Didn't we watch a Ghost Hunters or something?
Yeah, there was a Ghost Hunters show on there. There was boxing, basketball, professional wrestling. There was stand-up comedy. I mean, there was just everything on it. And we really, when we went back in and checked it out this last time, not only did we see a pretty substantial leap in the quality from what it used to be, but we also saw what this thing could be if it advances even further. And apparently Apple sees the same thing we saw, Roots, because they're reportedly about to lay down $100 million to acquire NextVR.
Wow. Imagine if you're the people that made NextVR. That's cha-ching. I don't know. It's kind of exciting and it's weird at the same time. Is like obviously if Apple does pick this up, they will push the platform probably more than anybody else would outside of Oculus, if they were to buy it individually, just because both are very driven. And it makes you wonder about that, like you said, the war with the screens and stuff that Oculus just secured. And I don't know. And people were saying, they swooped it out from underneath Apple. And now I don't know, man. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'm excited to see what's going on because I believe the future of TV entertainment or entertainment in general is about to change, because nobody wants to look at a TV anymore. I haven't watched TV for so long, for the most part, I think this would be the only thing that would draw me back in was some new way to watch it. Now, if you told me, Roots, you have to buy an Apple VR headset to watch this next VR, I probably would not. I just don't do Apple stuff. So I've shut that out of my life years ago for a lot of different reasons. So it would nope me out, but hopefully it wouldn't be, I don't know. I don't see how it doesn't become limited to Apple products. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's a double-edged sword. I'm excited. I'm excited when I see Apple getting behind something like NextVR because they're going to push it to the next level, right? They're going to invest in it. They're going to utilize it. Not only the technology that they've displayed so far, which is friggin' amazing. It's the only way to really watch sports, in my opinion. Who wants to watch a flat image through a window when you can be courtside, you can be ringside, you can be there, and you can do that now on NextVR. But in addition to that technology, NextVR had been looking into 6 degrees of freedom enhanced volumetric video, which is takes it to the next level because it allows you to move through the video, and when that finally hits the consumer market, it's really going to be next level.
Well, I'll tell you what, you perfect sports in there. You perfect it to the point where you're a big I was going to say Patriots fan, but it has to be Tampa Bay now. But you're a big Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, and you want to watch through Tom Brady's headset, or you want to move around the field and look. You're actually able to get in the huddle, and who knows? I mean, obviously, you imagine that would be a nightmare trying to figure out how to keep Belichick from stealing your plays. But I just think that it really could draw a lot of people in a way that I don't. Apple has to be thinking, kind of like we've talked about Xbox. If they were to come into the field, okay, if we're going to come in, how are we going to draw people to our platform? Why would they want to go to us over what's already been established for several years? And this would be it. This could be the actual entertainment VR, AR headset, or whatever they call it. That's what we talked about with Anthony. That's just for entertainment. And you're in it, it could be a game changer, and it could actually, as much as I would hate it, I could end up with an Apple headset. And I don't see that ever happening, but I'm never going to say never. If something comes out so good, how would I not pick it up? Like if I could literally be there on the field or on courtside and have it be 90% of the experience, which would mean it's way better than being there in person. I just don't see myself not picking it up.
Well, that's the thing, as I was saying, it's a double-edged sword. You get excited to see Apple get behind this stuff and start pushing it forward. But at the same time, the end of that road is exclusivity, right? Well, with that said, though, we've talked about exclusivity. We've talked about competition and what it means for the consumer. It's only good. It only means good things. Not only because here we have another, product entering the market, which could possibly offer us a superior experience, but this is only going to spur on Facebook. This is only going to spur on HTC. This is only going to spur on Valve to pick their game up as well. So who wins in this sort of situation? We do, and it's an exciting from that perspective as well.
Yeah, it sounds good. Who doesn't want to watch Amy Schumer's comedy up close? I don't, but that's just me.
I'll watch it. All right. So So while we're on the topic here of taking in entertainment in VR, you know, I always get, I'm always surprised when we watch these VR experiences, these short films and things. We've seen some really good ones, and generally the really good ones come with this laundry list of awards that it's won, and generally at least 2 or 3 of the awards that these things end up winning are from film festivals.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you wonder what kind of VR stuff's going on at all these film festivals. Come to find out, one such film festival is the Tribeca Film Festival. It's a big deal in that world, in the world of filmmaking. Anyway, as with most things right now, the Tribeca Film Festival, as a live event, has been canceled. So they're looking to take their event digital, like a few others have done, taking it online, and the VR portion of this is no exception. So generally, the way this works is you'll visit this festival. There are generally 10 to 15 different short films that they show people in VR, and then they choose winners. This year, since no one can attend the film festival, Tribeca is partnering with Facebook to bring its Cinema 360 lineup to Oculus Quest and Oculus Go via the Oculus TV app. So the films are going to span various genres ranging from entertainment to hard-hitting messaging, and you know that's expected from a film festival of this caliber. Basically, Roots, the bottom line is here, there's going to be about 15 short films up for an award at Tribeca this year, VR films, and if you have an Oculus Go or an Oculus Quest, you can check this stuff out next week, absolutely free of charge.
Oh, how cool is that? And what's cool about it is, you know, I think we're seeing the birth of some new things, and we even kind of talked about it, like some of these shows and stuff where they do demos and stuff, and how they could have people demo games and stuff, and maybe buy a ticket, and you could virtually go there. And this is kind of a way that it's showing that they could do that. And you know, like if I was hearing about this Tribeca Film Festival last year, I'm not going to it. I'm not watching any of these things. I mean, I'm watching maybe a trailer about it, but because of everything going on, I get to check out every single one of these, and I guarantee we probably will, and we'll talk about it. And I just think that's cool. It's just one more thing to do in VR, and it's one more way that this whole everything that's going on, there are some good things that come out of it, you know. And I was telling somebody this the other day, you know, like people are slowing down a little bit, you know, like we're forced to slow down a little bit, and that's not always a bad thing. And now as we're slowing down, we can watch some really cool VR content that, you know, I guarantee 99% of it we just never would see, because unless it's going to be whatever Wolves in the Walls or something that's brought to the Oculus store, we're just not going to see it. You know, it's just not going to come to a VR headset near you. But now it is. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. You know, it's exciting because we've seen some really good examples of these types of movies before. Some of them, like Wolves in the Wall that you mentioned, that I really, really enjoyed. So, I mean, there's a potential to be one of those in here, maybe two. You know, I've got the whole list here of all 15 of them and what their titles are. Nobody's going to recognize any of them, so I'm not going to read down it. For those of you interested, it is in our show notes. So for those of you who are going to join our Patreon, you can read them on there. But there's a list of 15 different short films on here. Additionally, Oculus is going to be releasing the 2019 Tribeca Storyscapes Award winner as for the Oculus Rift and Rift S. So the one that won last year, it's called The Key, is going to be available for download during this film festival. Not just on Quest, but Rift as well for that one.
So you've been waiting for The Key, right? I'm just kidding. I don't know. Never heard of it.
Well, I'm the key master, son. Didn't you know?
Yeah.
Are you the gatekeeper?
No, I think your wife's the gatekeeper. I think.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess after we finish up here, I'm going to go herald the coming of Gozer.
Yeah. yeah. That's very fitting too, right?
Yeah. Anyway, the Cinema 360 films are going to be available on the Oculus TV app from April 17th through the 25th. Don't miss it. I'm sure there's going to be some amazing stuff on there. I'm sure there's going to also be some, political messaging, some propaganda, but there's also in the midst of all that, there's going to be some really cool stuff too. I'm looking forward to it anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds like a fun time. I'll watch them all in one. I wonder how long these things are, because that's 15 of them. I mean, that's a lot of content, even if it's like 10, 15 minutes each. I mean, that's quite a bit of free content there, so that's cool. I like free, Wes.
I would speculate that they're probably between 5 and 15 minutes each.
Yeah.
I think the way they're doing it is they're breaking them into blocks of like 4 or 5 each. I think there's going to be 4 different blocks that they're packaging them together. So you can watch this block and catch this 4, watch that block and catch this 5. So I imagine that each one of those is probably going to be an hour-ish.
I do see.
That would be my guess.
I see one of these titles here, Attack on Daddy. Well, let's throw that out there. What a weird name. I'm really curious. What the hell is that all about? Oh.
Yeah, that's interesting, right?
Yeah.
A safe guide to dying.
Yeah, well, who doesn't want
Saturnism? Saturnism is that holds a little mystique as well, right?
Yeah. I'm just everything about it is intriguing to me, and if you have a headset, you can check it out. Even Gaming Science Teacher, that's one of the things that a lot of times the Quest is limited as far as certain things, and they're starting to catch up, so it's good. Yeah,
they're starting to develop an identity, its own thing, the Quest, and I think that's cool. I think it's good. I think it's something we're going to see more of in the coming years.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so things are quickly winding down here, but before we go, we wanted to just throw out a few reminders. First of all, we talked about some really cool new and upcoming games on today's episode, and we just wanted to take this opportunity to remind you all that it's very, very helpful for these developers of these games. For those of you, if you're excited about a game or if you're interested in a game, wish list it. We had a discussion this past week on Discord about what this means for developers, and it means different things to different developers. But the one thing that they all agreed on is that it was important and it was very helpful. So I, in real time right now, am going to go on there, and we talked about some cool stuff today, Roots. I'm going to go ahead and wish list it, which is something that I rarely do. I feel like I need to do more of it, so I'm going to do it right now. And I encourage those of you who are watching along at home right now, do the same thing right now. Go into your Steam or Oculus or whatever it is that you have. And if we talked about a cool game today that really excites you, go on there and wish list it real quick. It only takes a minute and it makes a huge difference. Roots, I think that I am going to go and wish list Follia Dear Father. I think that this game absolutely could be one of the very best that we see this year, and it absolutely deserves to be on my wish list.
I agree. Well, there's a lot of different reasons for wish listing it. Like you said, for the devs, so that you remember. And I know I get notifications all the time that says, hey, this game is on sale. How do you know a games that you want is on sale if you didn't wish list it? And if we're taking Oculus and their weird way that they run their store out of the equation, but like, how does your friend know to buy it for you if it's not on your wish list? Like, I've had friends buy me games that were wish listed, and all of a sudden it's just there. So I don't know, maybe Roots will buy you one. I don't know, maybe down the road if you wish list it. It's just a good idea. There's a lot of different reasons, and if helping out the devs isn't enough, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, not only do you get notified for sales and things, but you also get other updates as well when when a game's going to be released, things like that. That they keep you abreast on as well. So it's good for you. It's good for the devs. It only takes a click. So why not? I'm doing Follia Dear Father today, Roots. Is there anything on our list here that you're going to wish list?
Let me see what's on the list here. It's not going to be Green Hell because I know probably Death Horizon. Maybe. No, actually, I guess I don't even have a quest. So why? Maybe the workout one, which I can't do either. So I don't know. There's not
quest.
Yeah. So I guess it would just be a Follia Dear Father, and maybe Crisis VRigade. I don't know. Yeah. It's definitely a good idea.
Well, I'm going to go on here. And I am going to wish list Green Hell because I thought it looked cool.
It looks cool, for sure.
It just looks familiar, right?
It just looks familiar, but it looks like a better familiar version of it. So,
yeah, I mean, not only that, but this game's got some very, very high praise and reviews, like great reviews for it. So
yeah, that's the thing. It may look similar, but the gameplay just might be completely different. And it might be an amazing game, a must have.
So yeah, there you go. That was Green Hell and Follia Dear Father for me. And again, Death Horizon Reloaded was another good one. Supernatural, another good one. And it doesn't even really have to be a new game. I mean, if you don't have No Man's Sky, if you don't have Boneworks, those, I can tell you right now, both of those should be on your wish list.
I don't have Boneworks, actually, and I do want to buy it when it's on sale at some point because I don't like going to play it and seeing Justin's library is taken up, because obviously it's his library, and when he wants to play, he plays. Or whoever is playing it. It was probably you playing it last night. But I don't know. I just, it's one of those games that's on my list to own because it's that good. I want to actually own a copy of it. So it is actually already wish listed for me. And so hopefully it'll go on sale soon.
Well, there you go. So now that we've all wish listed up the stuff that we talked about this week that we are interested in, let's talk for a moment about free stuff. There's free shit week after week after week, and I don't know about you, but I, for one, tend to have trouble remembering going on and claiming all the free stuff that's available, right?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, one of the things that somebody had mentioned recently about transpose in the Steam, or I'm in the Discord from Steam, and I jumped on it and grabbed it, even though it wasn't one of my favorite games, but it's one that I want to go back into. And I didn't even know it was free until somebody mentioned it. So even when I do know it's free, I forget. And especially the Epic Game Store, they're always giving free stuff away. And I guess that's one of the good things about being on the Discord is there's always somebody on there that's, wanting everybody to know, if it's not us, somebody else saying, hey, this is free, this is on sale, or whatever. It's just a really good community of people looking out for each other. So.
Yeah, I agree. And again, if you are not already a member of our Discord channel, there is an invitation down below in the description. Come join the conversation. All right, anyway, so free stuff. This week, we thought we'd go ahead and hand out a few reminders. As Roots just mentioned, Transpose is free this weekend on Steam. It's not just free to play for the weekend. It's free right now, and you get to keep it forever. All you have to do is go on there and claim it or purchase it at a $0.00 price. 1 day left on this as of the time that this episode airs. So if you don't have it yet, go right now and get it because tomorrow it's going to be $10, $15 again, whatever it normally costs.
You're gonna feel like Weasel not picking up grip for $9, and so man, that blew me away. I was like, man, I want to go in there with you, and you're like, I didn't pick it up. I'm like, I would have picked it up for you,
dude. I've got access. We can go in anytime.
Yeah, that's true.
Just as a related note, not free, but we this past week did see our first ever sale on Asgard's Wrath. So $35. Again, at the time that this show is premiering, it's on sale for about another hour, maybe 2 hours. So again, if you don't own Asgard's Wrath, go buy it now. It's $35. Roots, $40 was a steal for Asgard's Wrath, wasn't it?
Yeah, it sure was. I will warn you though, make sure you got enough space on your hard drive, because that's about the only thing that I really drives me crazy. Hopefully Oculus will get their act together. But yeah, no, that game for $40, I mean, you're paying $1 an hour or something, I mean, there's so many hours, maybe it's not 40 hours, but there's a lot of game in that game. For 35, that's a steal.
Yeah, not just a lot of game, but some of the highest quality, best game. I mean, it's a must-own. It's a must-own game for VR.
Yep.
And it was, I don't want to rail on too much about how great Asgard's Wrath is. Everybody knows it. It's on sale for a minute. Go get it now, because who knows when the next time that thing's going to go on sale.
Yeah, sure.
PlayStation Plus subscribers out there, your games for the month of April include Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, as well as Dirt Rally 2.0. So, no VR support for the PlayStation version of Dirt Rally 2.0.
Yeah.
No VR support yet. And the way they did it, I think with the original version, is it was an add-on that you had to buy, DLC, like $8 or something, that had the VR support on. No plans that I know of that for this here, but still doesn't hurt to grab it. It's included with your subscription this month. And Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, absolutely one of the best flat games that I've ever played in my life. A super long, story-driven game that I played from start to finish, Roots. I really, really dig that game.
Yeah, I never tried it, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. And if you are against playing flat games, play it in VR on a screen. I mean, it's free, right?
Yeah. Free is free, bro.
Yep.
All right, and you mentioned the Epic Games Store. The cool thing about the Epic Games Store is they give away games on a weekly basis. It's not monthly there. It's every week they're giving away games. This week, they're giving away a really cool looking game called Close to the Sun, and then another game called Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments. Both of them look to be high quality games. That Close to the Sun looked pretty cool. Epic Games, always impressive with their selection of free stuff. Next week, Roots, Just Cause 4 for free from Epic Games Store.
Wow, that's cool. Well, it just makes you wonder, at what point will these never Epic Store people get an account, Because I'm starting to feel like there's just no reason not to. Like, it's free, so why not? And, I
mean, it's worth it just to amass this massive library of games.
Or if you want to play Falcon Age in VR on PC, that's the only way to do it. Who doesn't want to fist bump a Falcon? I still need to fist bump a Falcon, dude. I own that on Epic Games Store. What the hell is wrong with me? I need to fist bump, man.
You got a weird thing going on there, bro, with the fist bumps and the animals. I'm just saying.
Well, who doesn't want to fist bump a shark or a falcon? And I just want to. I want to keep my falcon safe from hypodermic needles. And I don't know, when we listened to Justin talk about it back in the day, it was so weird that I really am surprised I haven't gone in and checked it out, because it seemed very bizarre. And I was opposed to trying it on the PS4, but I want to check it out on PC. So yeah, definitely no reason to not get the Epic Game Store.
Coming to a backlog report near you soon, right?
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
All right, the final reminder of the day, we just want to remind you all to please support our channel. If you're new here and you've enjoyed this content, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And that notification bell right next to it there will allow you to stay up to date with all of our content. For those of you who are not new to our channel, a quick look in the description below will show you the link to our brand spanking new Patreon, and we're still working out the details as to what we want to do as far as the different tiers and things go. But by donating anything at all today gives you access not only to our cutting room footage that we're going to begin uploading on there, our behind the scenes conversations, if you will, as well as our show notes. And again, I do one of these for every show that we do. I do a show notes. The Monday show ones are kind of simplistic because it's a different format. That's more of a variety show. We're giving more opinions, don't really need so much notes. But on the Sunday show, the Virtual Strangers show, it's like this every week, 4, 5, 6 pages of notes on all of the cool gaming stuff, gaming related mostly stuff that we cover on this show. So
yeah,
definitely support us on Patreon, and we will appreciate it very much. And just really quickly before I throw it back to Roots here, I just want to go ahead and vow to all of you who do decide to support us on Patreon, we're not going to use your money to buy milk. We're not going to go buy bread with it. We're not going to buy toilet paper. Every cent that is donated to the Virtual Strangers Patreon will be put directly into our channel and directly into helping us achieve our vision of what we want our content to become. We want to take it to the next level in terms of production quality and professionalism. That stuff takes money, and that's why we're doing this.
And not only that, but content as well. Like, you know, there's certain games, like just this week, somebody said, "Oh, I really want you to check out Last Labyrinth." Well, they haven't given us a key, and it's $40. And we've both decided it's just not a $40 game, at least not for us. So
well, in defense of him on that one, he did offer to buy me that game months back, and I refused him because I didn't want him to spend $40 on it for me. I was like, no way, man, that's too much.
Yeah. Well, and that's just the thing, is like it just opens up the door to certain titles that we might want to review or talk about, that we would be adverse to picking up on the side, just because we're picking up all these other games that we really want to try, and that's just one example of where that money would go. And yeah, we've decided that is we want to make the channel better, and by no means you can tell it's been a year before this has even came up. We're not trying to make money. We're trying to make good content, and that's the difference. So
that's right. We're not trying to build wealth. We're trying to build a community, and I feel like we're off to a great start here. But as I said at the top of the show, I kind of feel like we're just getting started here. We've got the vision, we've got the plan. Now it's just we have to put in the work, make it happen.
Yeah, and you know what? We have the best community out there, and I'm not just saying that. And actually, people in the Discord say the same thing too. A lot of these people are in different communities as well, and I just believe hands down, it's just the best group of people that enjoy spending time together. So
yeah, I mean it's a diverse bunch, people from all over the world who have all different backgrounds and really share a lot of different, sometimes conflicting views, but at the end of the day we all agree on this one thing, and we share this one passion, and that's enough to build a strong community on.
Yeah, common ground is what I call it.
Kind of like the Ku Klux Klan, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
All agree on this one thing, right?
Yeah, we agree. We all agree against it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's called a bad joke.
Yeah, well, I think it was a funny joke, but definitely we're opposed to it. So as long as we state that right here, that neither one of us agrees with that group, we're good. And if you do, then I honestly probably don't want you in our community. I hate to say that about anybody, but there are some limits for me.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap us up here, Roots. I thought it was a pretty good show. What about you?
Yeah, I feel like I'm floating in the clouds after it. It's just so it was a good show, and I really liked your ad lib Ghostbusters. Just the way that all fell into place, that it was definitely not planned, and it made me laugh. So
anyway, good job, brother. Thanks again to all of you out there for watching. Yeah, I guess that's it. For Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you tomorrow, friends. Bye-bye.
Take it easy.